Georgetown is really fortunate in that we have not only our campus in Washington, D.C., but we also have a part of the School of Foreign Service that's in Qatar, in Doha.
We were trying to develop some classes that would take place both on the D.C. campus and on the Doha campus. And we had run an initial experiment using traditional video conferencing, and it was not a high-quality experience. We decided that what we needed to do was to look for a better video conferencing solution. So I put together a working group and looked at a whole wide range of solutions. We wanted something that would feel as if everyone were in the same classroom. And the Polycom Telepresence classroom was really the only one that looked like a classroom. The one thing that we really wanted was for a faculty member to walk into the room and not have to think about anything but teaching the class, so that it would be basically seamless to connect, and that's what we have.
You want a system where the faculty don't have to know how it works. They can work their own laptop, they know about as much as they need to use this room.
At first, it was a bit intimidating to use the telepresence classroom, but it is actually quite easy. The challenge was to integrate the two sides of the classroom. After only a couple of classes, they really sort of relaxed and began to function more as a classroom that just happened to be in two different continents. For the Washington students, it really expanded the universe for them. For the Qatari students, it meant we could bring in speakers from all over the world, and I think it was an experience for the students in Qatar that they could never have had otherwise.
You get to learn from people of different cultures that you wouldn't normally meet, and I think this type of technology really opens means of communication between different people, between different groups.
You learn so much in a classroom from the other students. When you can really use a global classroom to get students with completely and utterly different perspectives, it adds a whole new understanding of the readings and what you're discussing.
By interfacing with telepresence, students can learn from more than just a textbook. In a certain way, it almost looks like you're looking through a two-way mirror at another room just on the other side of the screen.
I was in a meeting one day and somebody's cell phone in DC went off, and everybody in Doha started fishing through their pockets trying to figure out if it was their cell phone going off, and I thought, that's how good the sound is in this room. We have had to spend very little staff time internally on keeping the room up and running.
Having the VNOC, the Virtual Network Operations Center, is a security blanket. We use Flowpoint as an overarching service provider, monitoring call quality, providing maintenance troubleshooting. If there is a problem, we can escalate it quickly to get it resolved. And it very often is resolved before the next class session.
It has saved untold thousands of dollars in travel costs. The level at which it's used and the value it gives back, both in terms of education and in terms of business solutions. There's no question that it was worth everything that we spent on it, and I don't think anybody has regretted it.
We use the RPX rooms very heavily Mondays through Thursdays, which is a common weekdays for both campuses, and it gets a very heavy workout. Our Doha campus wanted a service provider who could establish a VTC connection for them anytime they wanted to. I think that is the biggest benefit, the idea of round-the-clock coverage.
The room's been used in 3 different ways. In terms of instruction, there has been at least 1 course in there every single semester. The room is also used by students to just connect with other students with no faculty present. Then the third way that the room gets used a lot is basically for business operations, and I think that that's also just been enormously helpful. The ability to do hiring and job interviews and training. It has enabled the remote campus to feel infinitely more connected to the institution itself. It's enabled us to experiment with a kind of learning that we would never have been able to do without it.
It was wonderful. By the end of the semester, we were essentially interacting like we were in the same classroom. It was one of the best classes I've taken at Georgetown.